Welcome to Sterling Scalability Show, where we are talking about trends, marketing trends, updates, or anything that will help you scale your business. My name is Ibiza,
And I'm Susan.
and we are your big sisters for small business owners. We believe that you guys deserve the same sharp strategy that Fortune 500 companies may pay millions for. So, how's your week so far, Susan?
It's going good so far. I've already had a couple of conversations about our topic today. So that's why I felt like it was really, really timely. Um, I'm deep in ads land right now, building a bunch of ads and things like that, and getting back into that strategy development on meta ads. We did our meta ad build last week. So for anybody who didn't watch and wants to know how to do that, pardon Ruth. For anybody who didn't watch and wants to know how to do that, please do go back to last week's show and take a look. We walk you through exactly how to build an ad with no website, no pixel, no problem. But yeah, this week's been since we last spoke, we had a major holiday here, the 4th of July. So honestly, I'm pretty well rested and a little less attuned to most things. Pretty hyper focused on our topic for today. How about you? How's it been since we met you last week?
Well, did I mention that re-recorded my podcast, my personal podcast, and yeah, getting in the groove. Second week, I recorded earlier today, and yeah, it's just pisses me off like the technology. Sometimes, but yeah, overall, I'm all good. I'm so happy that we get to do this. Two podcast girl. To
Mhm.
podcast and then edit it. So the hard part is the post production really, but yeah, I love that, sharing knowledge. I love that I get to do this and share knowledge with people. So awesome. Okay,
I
so
Yeah. And I was gonna say congratulations on starting and getting back into your podcast as well. I think,
right.
that's one of the things is like getting started again feels strange. But I also pat us on the back because I think this is our ninth
Ninth, yeah.
episode.
Mm.
So next episode
Yeah.
we are two.
Yeah.
So and feel free to plug your podcast right now because your podcast business.
Yeah. Actually the focus here it is really to just share the my journey in as a VA because there's like I'm the person that they go to. I realized when what is a VA? How do you become a VA? Where do I land clients? So those stuff. So I'm that person who my friends are tapping into. So I feel like I have the authority somehow. Yeah.
I
So
do. And I love the shorts.
yeah, and even the what do you call this? The it's not because here in the Philippines they would always, flex about earning in dollars, spending in peso, those narrative. Which well it's good, but for me, they don't really show the realities of, whenever you log in and then you lose all of your logins, the tools that you are using, all of
Are
a
you talking
sudden
about
you
getting
put
fired right now?
right. Yeah, because people here they don't really talk about that. So they just, want to hype you up. But, oh,
Yeah,
that
but
person.
that happens. That happened to both of us one
Exactly.
day. I mean, and I'm not even in the Philippines.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's really traumatic. And I mean, you know how I feel about that stuff. I feel like when it comes to this, yeah, and this is really relevant to the small business thing. So even though it's a bit of a curtail here, I do think it's worth addressing. You know, Speaking to my fellow American small business owners, and then at Visa, you chiming in, I pull you along and try to make sure that you are always paid fairly in all of our projects.
Mhm. Yeah.
And, we meet friction with that.
Mhm.
And for me, hearing that people are paying VAs who are literally their business operations managers in most cases, they say they're doing admin work. If they're doing research and, these big asks and tasks, like it's I have a very hard time accepting that people are comfortable paying someone $7 an hour.
Mm.
725, I think, is like the minimum wage in America. And the thing about that is that number should be 15. So I
Mm.
think, like, I'm a person of fairness, and I know that there's this illusion over here that $7 an hour is a lot of money for you. Is it?
Mhm. Yeah. Even actually there are some clients who are thinking that it has to be like location based the salary should be based on location and not
Yeah.
the the impact of of the VA to the business.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, we should flip to your show one day, and you should invite me on, and I can help debunk some of the things that our business owners over here believe, because I do, that I do think it's a big challenge when I hear what people want to pay, just and these business coaches. Like, my frustration goes to the business coaches that are like, it's easy, just go to onlinejobs.ph and find somebody this cheap, and you pay $68, then you just cancel your membership after, and da 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 da. I mean, there were so many nights where, like, I was working upside down hours to find someone who would work Eastern Standard Time, and then to find someone who, I mean, and it just never felt fair or good. And obviously there are language barriers, not necessarily with conversations, but with writing. And
Mm.
uh, with that, this is a whole topic, and maybe we should cover this on scalability here. Um, but maybe we'll do some kind of like cross
Posting.
pollination post for this, because maybe this is what we could do next week, Ibiza, because I think it's a good topic, and I feel like, I know we're like going off topic here, but we should do like debunking 5 myths of
Yeah.
the Filipino VA.
Yeah. It's a good topic. Yeah, it because as a business, you wanted to have, to reduce your cost, but at the same time find quality people, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yes. We'll look into that. Okay. So, thank you for this. So, what do we have for this week, Susan?
All right. So I know that this year and for this whole show, we've been talking about buzzwords. It's all buzzwords. And I know, for me, I hate buzzwords. I absolutely can't stand it. But I do want to talk about the next one I'm hearing. And I'm hearing about this in a couple of ways. And Ibiza, I'll be curious to know if you are hearing about this at all as
Mhm.
well. So it is what is coming across. It's now called zero click search. And what we're going to cover here, again, we're going to hear a lot more about this year. So if your business depends on people finding you on Google, this is going to directly impact you. So I was pulling some stuff from Notebook LM, which I love, when I was researching this, and it hit me with this line that really, like, stuck with me. And I feel like this is the thing. So for 2 decades, the click was the undisputed currency of the web. And that is like, you want it to have a good SERP, SERP,
SARP.
which is search engine results page. So you, as the end user, the business owner here, you're going to think of that as every marketer you've ever talked to over the last 2 decades has been like, I can get you on page one of Google. That's a SERP. And now that's gonna be different. And now we're looking at a horizon of the zero click search.
Mm, interesting. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah. So a zero click search is when someone types a question into Google and gets their answer, but they get their answer right on the results page, but they never click through to a website. They're reading the AI summary at the top of the listing. And then in that answer box, maybe they're following up with a question, but they're never actually clicking out. So your website never sees that person, even if you're ranking on the page. So for many of you, maybe we can kind of show an example of this, or I guess I could, right? Let's go ahead and go to google.com. We haven't done a visual aid before, Ibiza. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share a tab here. Bear with me. Okay, window.
So this is actually the second time that we are doing this.
Uh-oh. Did we do this before?
I remember that not really with Google, but I remember like in the middle of the story of what you were discussing, we share the screen, the instant
Okay.
stuff.
That's what it was. Okay. Oh,
Uh-huh.
well, we showed on the ads, so that's fine. So, like, I'm searching Sterling Scalability here, and right here is our AI overview. I've got this screen pretty small, so I'm sorry for those of you who can't see
Lovely.
it. So, there's me, and notice that this is a LinkedIn post. So, this right here are our search results, and obviously, this is all us. We love it. We love to see it, and follow us on all of these things, and you can find us. I don't know who you are, but you're not me. So anyway, so our Sterling Scalability is right here. And what most people are going to do is just kind of pull this down. And this is like something different. So a lot of people are just ending up right here, and this is giving them answers because I'm typing that in, but the way that people search now is different, right? This is what the GEO AEO conversation is. And sorry, this portion of the show right now is not in the search notes. So as you can see, my research is up here. Um, but the way that people are searching is like, how can I market my business? So we'll see what we get here because this is relevant to us too. Um, Great. Here it is. Here's our AI overview.
Mm.
So, like right here, people are clicking show more and they're just taking this at face value. There's a whole nother problem with that. I mean, there was a lawsuit that kind of Google is going through. I don't want to speak on that because I think it's in process and I really don't want to like ask. But anyway, this is what I mean. So, zero click is that people are coming here and like marketing a small business, they're taking this AI overview answer, taking these steps and doing it. So maybe something simpler would be that you're a taco business. I want
Mm.
tacos in Brunswick, right? Because that's where I live. Yep. So tacos in Brunswick, we got Barrio's Tacos shows right up. So of course you've got these. I'm not getting one here, so let's do the best.
Mm.
So, the function of search is just so different. See, this one isn't even pulling us any AI overview. So I guess like some location pages are still good. So back to what it is now that I've shown you exactly what it is. So a zero click search is quite literally when someone types a question into Google, because again, like I'm typing in a keyword, but people aren't keyword searching anymore. Now they're typing in questions, they're prompting it like AI. They're getting their answer right on that results page in the AI overview or the AI summary. And then that's it. They're done. Whatever that says, whatever steps it takes, that's it. Most people are not clicking through. And when I say most, I do have numbers. So Pew Research did a study. I was pulling from some articles and just reading like Similar Web. Spark Toro did an analysis of this as well. So, we don't play around with vague statistics. I want to tell you what they are. So the first set of data that I looked up comes from that study that was published. It basically Spark Toro analyzing Similar Web, they did a clickstream panel. And what they found is that in the first 4 months of 2026, we're in July now, 68% of Google searches in the United States ended without a click. 68%. That's more than half. Which means that, people are feeling that traffic pressure. So in 2024, that number was around 60%. So, the part that like really like stops me and makes me go, is that for every 1,000 Google searches, 276 clicks now reach the web, which is fewer than 3 in 10 searches. So out of 10 searches, less than 3 are actually going to a website at all. So that really hit me because again, one of the things that I am hearing from people, one of the things I'm seeing myself in the data and the businesses that we represent is I am seeing a pretty significant decline in web traffic.
Mhm.
and that's direct. Direct is when somebody's typing in, but like from search. So the second stat I want to talk about comes from Pew Research Center, and this one really matters. So Pew is not a marketing company. The last the last thing I mentioned, SparkToro, SimilarWeb, they both offer a service. They're both
Mhm.
SaaS. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't pay for or use either of them. Just for full disclosure, I've used SimilarWeb in the past. I've never used SparkToro. I don't endorse them. Um, you know, putting that out there. But Pew Research is not a marketing company. They're not selling you anything. Pew just tracked browsing behavior of 900 American adults across about 69,000 real Google searches. Think of this like, I don't know if you know what Nielsen is. They do like the
Yeah.
TV surveys.
Mhm.
Pew is more direct like that. So when an AI summary appeared on the page, as you saw, so, like sometimes AI summary is not available, sometimes it is. But when the AI summary appeared on the page, people clicked a regular search result 8% of the time. Only 8% of the time. Without a summary, they clicked twice as often, 15% of the time. So when Google's AI answer cited a website as its source, people clicked through to that source 1% of the time. So despite being listed in the AI summary as the source of the information, only 1% of the time are people clicking through to your website, which, you know, uh, to me, that's just like mind blowing because your content can literally be the answer
Mm-mm.
and you may still not get the visit.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that data was collected in early 2025. It wasn't necessarily the first half of this year. The Spark Toro and SimilarWeb is more recent, but I just think that when you start thinking about that, like that was just on this small percentage where they were testing it, and that's only expanded since. So the Pew numbers are really like the floor of the data, not the ceiling of it. This is like the issue at the very base, and what I think is really important about that, or what I wanted to drive is really important about that is, and I'll ask you this, Ibiza, because you may or may not know, because I'm our ads girl, but when you think about somebody not going to a website and you are a small business that's running ads, what does that tell you they're going to lose?
For sales. First website
Retargeting.
visits. All right. Retargeting ads. Oh, yeah. Mhm.
2019, in 2019, we lost the ability to track iPhone users for our ads,
Oh,
which
yeah,
meant
yeah,
that
yeah.
our retargeting game got. This is another, and it's a big one. So we're losing half of the web traffic. So half of the people that we could later find because they were interested in our website and the results on our website and our search engine results page location helped that. So us being on the first page. And I'm trying to use these acronyms so that small business owners can understand them. And then I'm trying
Mm.
to break them down so that, we go further. But when I think of these numbers, I'm like, we better get creative with ad strategy.
Right.
So I mentioned about the Pew Research study. That data is, I'm sure they'll do a new study soon and I'll get caught up with it. But the last number, the last part of that tells me where this is heading. I talked about Google and how they announced that AI mode is their fully AI driven search experience. And, we saw a little of that in 2025. They've been playing around with it since they launched Gemini. But that's where the search is going. So when you think of that, eventually all searches through Google are going to be led by an AI summary, whether or not they're fully live now or not. And 1% of the sources cited might get a click. To me, that's just, SEO isn't just changing. This isn't just SEO. This isn't just Google. This is like everything.
Yeah.
Um,
The entire ecosystem.
and Google keeps making more money on people. You've
Mhm.
got queries that are doubling every quarter. So this is not a reversing trend.
Mm-mm. If that's the case, what can we do about it?
Yeah. I think the first thing is, and I want to be different, Ibiza, we can talk a little bit here too about some of the Instagrams that we pass back and forth to each other, some of the shorts, where everybody's like, wait, stop, panic. Everything that you're doing is useless and you don't need blogs anymore. And blah, 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 blah. We'll rank you first. You get 1 million or we don't get paid. Whatever. We're in a new type of economy um, of your attention. And the biggest thing that I can do, the starting point is don't panic. I'm telling you something scary. It's something that I'm pondering and thinking about and, going to be working on. But what we have to shift is we've got to stop measuring the wrong things now. And we have to start doing 4 specific things pretty well. Yeah.
Mhm. Right.
So I'll run us through all 4 of them. Ibiza, stop me with any questions that you think will be helpful or, as I run through. So for those paying attention, for those tuning in, here's the 4 things that you want to be able to do really well. Because we love to give you homework. Number 1, as always, if you serve local customers, and I think I talked about this on a past show, I've certainly talked about it with my local clients. Your Google business profile is your most important marketing asset right now. The research is showing that business queries that are branded, business queries, branded searches, and high intent buying searches are the categories that are so reliably sending clicks. We saw that with the taco business. So fill out every field, add the photos, and respond to all of your reviews,
Mhm.
even the bad ones.
Mhm.
That listing, your Google My Business listing, that is your storefront on the internet. And right now, you need to pay a heck of a lot of attention to it. Make sure that it's solid. I don't think we've set up ours. So maybe what we can do is in a future episode, we'll do ours.
Yeah.
Why not? We don't have a physical
Set up.
location. Yeah, we'll do a setup. Maybe we can we'll do that in the coming weeks. Let us know if you guys are interested in that, and we'll make sure that we prioritize it. Otherwise, it's just going to be an idea that ends up on the shiny penny list. All right, your second thing to do. You ready? Oh, and I should ask questions about that.
Well, I mean, no questions, but I think the it's a good content if we're gonna share with them how to do the
How to set it up
Google business.
because you do have to set it up. You have to claim your page and everything.
Right. Mhm.
So yeah, we'll walk through that. We'll definitely do that because that's something I haven't even been able to prioritize for us. So that's okay. Second thing, become the answer to the questions, to the prompts instead of chasing the click. So this is coming from the Pew Research study. So what Pew found was that searches that were phrased as questions, so starting with who, what, when, where, why, they trigger an AI summary 60% of the time. Your customers are asking, they're prompting, like they're asking full questions in plain language. So write content that answers the questions directly. This is like, you want to do the ABC searches or whatever. Like you want to do the alphabet methods. You want to know what that is. If you want more on that, I'm not going to get into that right now. We have a free 45-minute session. I'll plug that. You can jump in. Well, for a limited time only. So when you're writing content, write content that's answering the questions that people are asking about your type of business or your business itself. If you have a customer service inbox, if you have an inbox and you're getting questions, then think of your FAQs and make sure that those things that you're writing, and this goes not just for your website, but also your socials. I mean, our first search result is our LinkedIn page, and it's a short from our LinkedIn page.
Mm.
So if Google's going to summarize somebody, make it you. Google's going to find the answer that directly relates to that question, and it's going to try to find it as fast as possible. So if you've already got that, get it. And I was looking through like the search engine roundtable on that one. So really interesting. Any questions on that?
No, no. I feel like in terms of that being the answer to a specific problem, you have to use the right keywords that reflects your business or that your customer needs. So SEO still. It's not dead.
Yeah. No, SEO is kind of everything. Like
Mhm.
it ends up being just a real part of this. And the difference
Mhm.
is we used to just go for search words. And now it's like, think of the prompt. Think
Right.
of the prompt that somebody's going to ask their AI model and
Mhm.
answer that question in plain English.
Right.
All right. Third thing, this is the measurement part. Change what you measure. If 2/3 of the searches are never producing a click, then your traffic report is telling you less than half of the story of your data. And we all know I'm obsessed with the data and we all know I'm obsessed with the numbers. So I'll just point out here that like if that's what you're relying like if that's all that you're still relying on, that's half the story. You need to get into Google Search Console and you need to start watching your impressions. Your impressions are more important. That used to be kind of a vanity metric, like it was important, but not so important. It would tell you how many people saw versus how many people clicked through. Impressions are going to be important now. And you need to see how often people search for your business name directly. We're looking for direct searches because branded search is the new search that you own. So for people who, who this will impact the most, Ibiza? Businesses who have kind of generic names, they're going to have a hard time with branded search.
Mhm.
Um, don't be world's best tacos. Be world's best tacos of Brunswick. Be, whatever. Just
Mhm.
find a way to make it a little more
Specific. Mhm.
specific and then win at branded search. If you're not sure what branded search is, I'll tell you right now that it is a method of advertising through Google. I mean, obviously it's directed, it's also, part of SEO, but there's, it's paid ads. So definitely something to think about. Own your brand, be your brand, figure out how many people are looking for you, watch your impressions, and then note that clicks are going to be significantly dropping off from here on out. And if you're just tracking your website clicks, which to be honest, most of my things are click throughs. Most of mine is like traffic acquisition, right? That's the report that I like to look at. And I have to shift some of that too, because I don't even have it. I didn't even have impressions on my dashboard that I typically, have. So that's my third one. And then the fourth thing. You ready for that one? Yeah. You're gonna love
Mhm.
this.
Uh-huh.
There is a channel that businesses can build and can own, and we could help them, that Google can't take from you. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, what is it? I think I know it, but yeah. Drop it.
It's your email list.
Right, right.
So, Rand Fishkin, this is a guy this is coming from this Factorial study. But it's like you're hearing it from these professionals, but everybody else, like SEO alone is not going to be enough anymore. And I think we've been saying it for years. I mean, I've heard people like Amy Porterfield talk about this for years, Jenna Kutcher. I spent time working with Brendan Burchard and he would talk about it as well. You know, you own your email list. That is yours. So you should have a plan for that. And you have to get good at communicating with that list so that it's growing.
Mhm.
So what's your newsletter saying? SEO isn't enough anymore because now if you're not going to be showing up in search, how do you press a button when you need to turn the sales on? You know what I mean? How do you get through that? And you and I we just recently talked about it because we're just kicking this business off together this year. Even though I've been in consulting for a long time, even though Ibiza's been doing what she's been doing, we just combined forces.
Mhm.
What 3 months ago? 3 months ago, we've maybe a little longer, but pretty much that. So, um, you got to get good at your email lists. And when you think about it, you want to use it as brand awareness, but you also want to use it as a tool to educate. And your socials can do this, but your socials should probably ask for people to join your email list. So think about tips, tricks, or something that you can do, some value that you can deliver to someone's inbox that allows you to skirt only showing up in sorry. Can't help myself sometimes. Um, but every person who joined your list is a person you don't have to win them back through an algorithm. You own their email. They're in your list and they're interested. They're interested because they signed up. We were DMing back and forth at Ibiza about like a good lead magnet. We saw this kind of, thing for a good lead magnet. And getting lead magnets together and just being like, DM us for this, we'll send you it over. Find a way to collect email that you're providing a helpful resource so that people won't immediately unsubscribe. But that is the fourth thing that they have to get good at. So I'll read these back one more time. Number one, your Google profile. Fill it out the whole way. Make sure the information is accurate. Add pictures. Respond to every review. Negative reviews need responses as well. You can use the HEARD method. That's what Yelp used to recommend, I believe. HEARD. And you can look that up or you can email us about it and we'll be happy to tell you. DM us or drop a comment and we'll give you the rest of that. The second thing, become the answer. So answer the prompt. Don't chase the click. Find a way to be recommended in that AI search. Third, what you measure should change. It's not just your clicks that matter now, it's your impressions as well. And then fourth, you need to make sure that you have an email list. You need to make sure that you own your contacts. You need to make sure that you're not solely relying on search. And if you were a business that was heavily relying on search and right now you're pulling your hair out because we just entered this like 0-click search economy and you're like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what this is. I just watched my traffic drop in half. Back in March, we had that Google console issue where it dropped. Everybody lost a lot of measurement. Facebook got messed up. There's whole, March was a mess for marketing. Mhm. But this is going to be continuing. Like I said, Pew Research is where I put my, my eggs in that basket. They don't have a dog in this. I don't want to use that analogy, but they don't have a stake in this. You know what I mean? They're not a marketing company looking to scare you into taking an action with them. They're just a research company and their numbers are coming from last year. So I know that that's the floor of this information. And I mean, 1% of people who see a source cited in the AI summary are willing to click it. And that means that your web traffic is in trouble. And I don't want to scare you. You can solve it, but you've got to be proactive about the solution.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what my bottom line is, but I also threw a lot of information at you, Ibiza. So I'd be curious to hear what's your big takeaway from today's call here as we talked about this and as we're thinking about this. What's something that stands out to you? And what's something that you're like, I should be doing that, or we should?
The low hanging fruit for me would be to start creating a lead magnet because when you were discussing this from the get go, I was thinking, oh, lead magnet. They email newsletter, so yeah,
Yeah,
so they really you really need to work on that building that email list.
yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So my takeaway, what I'll leave you with, obviously, I gave you the 4 things to do. For anybody who has been listening for a while, feel free to book our, the 45 with us. That is free for a limited time. We are running out of time on that, so I'll be closing that loop down pretty soon. But visibility and traffic used to be the same thing. Like if they saw you and you were the first result and you were getting a click, like if you were the first result, you were getting a click. But they aren't anymore. That's not what this is anymore. That's not how the internet works anymore. That's not how search works anymore. The businesses that win from here on out are the ones that people remember by name,
Mm-hmm.
the ones cited in the answer, the ones that have a direct line to their audience. And that's all work you can start this week.
Right. And also, I was thinking marketing, though maybe people knows this already, but marketing is an entire ecosystem. It's not just your website, it's not just your social media, it's also your email marketing and also connecting, like really having a messaging that really resonates with your audience. So
It's also your networking,
right. Mhm.
right? Like, I mean, and not just your email list, but like, how you reach out, how you show up.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that I'm kind of a generalist. We talked about this. I'm a performance marketer specifically. I like ads. That's my focus, but I've done a little bit of all of it. I've been a social media manager, a community
Mm.
manager. I can make, I can make graphics even though I hate. I've done email marketing. I've done SMS marketing. Text, by the way, when I think about an
Mhm.
email list, I didn't specify here like text, but
Mm.
having an SMS strategy is important as well. Um,
Mhm.
you know, especially when you're a small business owner, that's overwhelming because what I just gave you is like multiple people's jobs.
Right.
So you have to hire multiple people. I think sometimes too what happens, sorry, since you brought up the ecosystem, I think this is kind of like an interesting thing to throw out here. Maybe this goes as not part of the show, but at the same time, maybe it goes as part of the show. I think that small business owners, especially once you're doing your own marketing and you think I can't, I can hire a marketer, I can hire a content
Mhm.
manager, and I can hire this, and they're just going to be good at it. They're just going to be good at this thing. A lot of people are only good at one area of marketing. I'm not an SEO, for example. I'm just really interested in this stuff. So I
Mhm.
stay on top of it and a part of what I do. And I've managed SEOs and, maybe someday I'll switch and that'll be my specialty. But, ads are my world. But I think that's for small business owners. It all gets overwhelming because it is an ecosystem. I mean,
Mhm.
because, you want to focus on one thing or you want to be on just TikTok or you want to be on just Instagram and you think that like my Facebook page is enough. You can do a lot of stuff. A Google Search Console, I'm waiting for it to release a little further, but like Google, we just did the run an ad without a website. Google Search Console is expanding now to include social media pages. So I don't think that that's wholly rolled out. I don't think I have it on some of my accounts. I have it on a few, but not all. Um, the ecosystem of marketing can be really overwhelming. It's changing every day.
Mm.
You want to find a way to stay informed and you want to find a way to deliver real value to an audience that you are actively losing. And this is not a fear tactic. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
scare anybody. It's just the truth. We are losing attention in general. And so the fight here or the thing to sustain is the contacts that you own, um, the resources that are not necessarily low hanging fruit, but are important
Mhm.
and will help you move forward. It's just the zero click search term that's going to continue growing there's a lot to it. And I do think that people need to start paying attention.
Awesome. So you've said a lot of things, but yeah, you can just so we don't want to overwhelm you. Just do what you can, step by
So
step.
four things:
Yeah.
optimize your Google business, optimize your Google My Business page. That's number one. Number two, whatever you're creating content, if it's on Instagram, if it's on TikTok, or if it's on your website, wherever it is, think of the prompt that someone's going to ask that you want them to bring to. So it used to be like, think of the problem that you want to solve and then jam something full of keywords. No, think of the question they're going to ask and then answer it. Third, change what you measure. If you are not looking at your impressions when you get into Google Analytics, add impressions to what you're looking at there. And then, of course, lead magnet, find a way to get some emails, own some emails, capture some emails, write a monthly newsletter. It doesn't have to be more than that. You don't have to send an email every day or every week. If you're e-commerce, that's a different story. For
Yeah.
most, depending on what your business is, I might just have lied to you. If you certain businesses do need to send them weekly or, so forth. But, you can do this. And if you
Right.
can't, we can help.
Right. So feel free to book us a free consult for it's 45 minutes. It's sterlingscalability.com/slash free dash consult or email us at hello@sterlingscalability.com. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on our socials. And we are happy to help you. So just feel free to send us a message, whatever questions that you have. Marketing questions, of course.
I mean, you can
So
send us
yeah.
other questions, but we might not have them.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we will see you on the next one. Bye bye.